All right, let's try this another time here. It probably takes a minute or a second or something like that, but I thought for sure I was going to find this. Maybe he deleted it. I only watched it pretty recently, though, I felt like. This is a good one. It's a prank, but he has another one where he does the same thing in a vape store. Oh, here we go. Discount Smoke Shop. It was suggested. I guess he didn't add this to his playlist yet.
We are good to go.
Oh, are we live? Perfect. Well, we'll let people file in here. I wanted to show off some of these pranks. I'm not sure. Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about, we could talk a little about your Ray DeVito show, too. Appearing on Ray DeVito, because I appeared on that show in September, I think it was. Let's see. What do we look like here? Oh, we got a nice prank video here. This is, we have his first prank. I want to watch that first, I think. Maybe we'll full screen it. The other shorts are difficult to full screen. I don't really like those. Not sure why people do it like that. I guess once you do it in a vertical video. This originally was appearing to me as a short, but I somehow got it pulled it up in this format. Do you know Illuminati Nate?
I'm not sure who Illuminati Nate is.
Illuminati Nate is a fascinating character that I've been following for years. In fact, sometimes he'll post a video and I know he's going to take it down, so I download it to my hard drive. I have some backups of a couple of his things. His dog died on stream once. It was very interesting. Meanwhile, he's yelling at Microsoft and Google for killing his dog. He's got some issues. Hey, we have another video where he's running around the trailer and he's concerned because he's being cyber attacked. He's a unique guy, but he also does some great pranks. Some of them are a little unhinged, but I like these first two, and then we'll look at a couple of the more unhinged ones.
All right, let's do it.
So we're here, live. I'm just pulling up the live chat here and making sure I'm live. Are we actually live? Oh, yeah, perfect. Oh, I think maybe it once started earlier, and then let's see the chat here. Oh, no, we look good to go. Good morning, Old School Dave. Good morning, El Rot. Nice calendar. Right, we have a Chinese calendar in here. Is that visible? It is visible. Perfect. For no particular reason, but I thought it'd be good to add some more things to the studio there for the radio show. Tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, Drive Time David Collins on the Blind Mike Project. We'll be looking forward to that. And we had another episode we were scheduled to record this afternoon. And that's why I was here originally, but that had to be rescheduled to first thing tomorrow morning. A little too bad. We have a great guest, and I'm really looking forward on getting that episode of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show produced here. But we had to reschedule that, so we said, why don't we just go live for an hour or so? Which is fine. I have a couple things we can talk about there. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Happy to be on this live. Haven't done a live stream with you.
No. Well, beyond just the radio show.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
We do. This is a David Collins live stream, though, I think it's called. I never really changed that title. I'll just let people kind of enjoy that.
Shooting from the hip.
So you'd went on a radio. I don't think we're going to talk about this on the radio show at all. We have a small segment where we mention it for David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show, but catching Troy up on some of those things for tomorrow during the radio show, and we also haven't really had any history of talking about Ray DeVito on that show, so I don't think there's any context where we'll really bring it up. But last Friday, it was a Friday or Saturday, you appeared on Ray DeVito's Rock Bottom.
Sunday night.
Aptly named. Oh, yeah. Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah. He messaged me to come on the show and talk about some sports cards with him. It was an interesting experience. How was your experience with him? Because you had one too, right?
Oh, I went on the show at the end of September, and it was nice. I felt like I ended up kind of interviewing him at the end of it. I was like, Ray, what is going on here? He had this chat of people parading him. He would put one up and then say, he's a nice guy, though. I said, why are you so nice to these people that are destroying your life? But yeah. He's a nice enough guy, and we had him at the Jester's Lounge. And the whole time at the Jester's Lounge, I was saying, you could do something different. You don't need to make a living out of people calling you names on the internet.
Yeah, I don't know how you can live in that world. It's a strange world to be in.
It definitely is. Do we have anything going on there? Okay, we're just getting started. That's perfect. But yeah, my experience with him was he did win one of the awards. We're working on David Collins' 30-minute half-hour award show for this year. And Ray DeVito, we're going to have to be getting an acceptance speech pretty soon because he won one of the awards. We're not going to unveil which one. I think he might have been nominated for a couple, and he turned out pulling the win on one of our awards this year. So we're putting out that. It was nice to have him on the show, and I'm glad that he invited you on. So he just invites you because of the sports breaks, though. He has the same interest in sports cards.
He has an interest in sports cards, yeah. Maybe not the same. I think he's more of the old school type, where he likes a lot of the older cards. he knows a lot more of the players and stuff like that. So
So he's a collector and not a mover and shaker.
yeah, he made it very clear he doesn't sell cards. He's very
Sounds suspicious.
very clear about
Why
that.
does everything he says just sound suspicious? He'll
don't
say the
know.
most innocuous sentence, and you'll say, "What do you mean by that?"
Yeah, a lot of inside jokes too with the chat with him and stuff. And
That's probably uncomfortable for a guest.
yeah, it was a strange experience, but we got through it. But yeah, he had me on to talk about some of the cards that he's been opening, some of the boxes he's been opening, which were like the Flux product and also NBA hoops and stuff like that, and kind of just trying to get him to know the difference between some of the cards, the parallels, the numbered, this all.
Do you want to move that up a little bit?
Yeah, move it up.
Well,
This
just
way?
or speak. It's just closer to your face.
Okay.
You're a little.
Here we go. But yeah, just to talk about all that different stuff, and it was a little difficult to try and get the points across about the cards and stuff like that, but I think he was catching on. And
Well, he's so distracted by people calling him racial slurs in the live chat.
yeah, it was crazy. So, but we got through it. It was a decent time. So, but yeah, a lot of as old school Dave says, you got to have thick skin to be on YouTube. So
Well, Dre DeVito apparently has that, I guess, if he's continuing to do that show.
yeah, I couldn't.
It's an interesting experience.
Could you imagine doing that every day for like even a week?
You have to catch on at some point and say, I'm going to break the chain.
Yeah, unless it's what he wants or something like that. But who knows?
It might be. Well, I'll be willing to, I'd be looking forward. Maybe we'll have him back on the show for some reason next year or something like that. Or we'll go to Cleveland and do something there. That's where he's at, right? Cleveland?
Cleveland, yep. Yeah. It was fun to there's a bunch of clips on YouTube of him reading other super chats, which is always kind of funny.
Oh, just compilations of him reading the super chats?
Yeah, and then watching the guest reaction to him reading the super chats.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
He's a strange person that not a lot of people really know, but he has people make complete compilations of his things.
Yeah, and it's like he's just a normal comedian or whatever in New York City, and then he brings people on and he has to give them these
Normal, loosely.
Yeah. He's a comedian in New York City. He brings people on these shows and he has to give them like this disclaimer every time to come on. Like, hey, they're talking to
right.
me. They're talking to
You mentioned he has like legitimate peers on the show, and he brings them on to talk about comedy, and then somebody, Ray's ex-wife super chats him something, and he just has to read whatever's going on and explain to the guest, oh, I'm involved in this universe or something like that. It's like,
yeah,
what
it's all right.
why do you put your guests through that? Or just do a pre-recorded thing? Why do you have to sit there and... One thing I was watching you on Ray DeVito, and it felt like he was just interacting with the chat, and you have no idea what's going on. It's like, Ray, why am I here?
Yeah, I think the guest is like the third mic. And it was funny. Somebody kept super chatting that, asking who the bald guy was, or whatever. And Ray kept saying, "Oh, they're talking to me. They're talking about me." I'm like, okay, the dude with full head of hair versus the guy that's bald.
Right, everything that he
Like,
says
I'm
he has to
not
pretend.
I'm not insecure about that.
Of course, they're making fun of the guest, and that's
Yeah.
why he brings them on.
Yeah,
It's a good show format, actually. Why don't
Yeah.
you just have a live show where you bring on a guest, and then the live chat berates the guest, and the whole time you say, "Don't worry about that. They're actually talking about me."
yeah. And if the guest can catch on in like 2 minutes, can't believe that Ray hasn't caught on.
Right.
So yeah,
Well, people, I've been told that you really shouldn't interact with him. That he's dangerous, and that a lot
Yeah,
of
I
people
can see
think
that.
that he's just. But I don't know. I still interact with them. I think, but a lot of people send me DMs. They say, "Be careful with that Ray DeVito.
yeah,
Not to be trusted." They tell me.
yeah. So
Have we ever watched him talking about the lawsuit on any of our shows?
I don't think we have no.
The pre-recorded, because we turned on all the cameras and everything before recording with Ray DeVito. I turn everything on right in front of him. He knows exactly what's going on. And as soon as the last thing's turned on, he says, as soon as I push record, he says, hey, I don't want to mention this at all, by the way, on the show. And he starts going into detail about things he doesn't want to talk about. For that Franklin Scheckler that Malware here mentions was the crux of whatever lawsuit he was talking about, which is a little strange. It's what it is, but I don't think he really understands the First Amendment that clearly. He's a public figure. You can't sue somebody for cyberbullying. That's not a real lawsuit.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. I don't want to rag on the guy. Enough people are kind of ragging on him too. But he seems... Let someone help you. I think he's getting tossed around by a lawyer or something. People are trying to get something out of him, milk him for all he's got, if he's got anything.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where it all ends up at. But I think that was my step into his universe, and I'm out of it.
Malware says he's lying. Well, some people know about this Ray DeVito figure. He is just interesting to me, and you did his show this week, so that's why we're talking about him. But we don't really... Apparently, a lot of people are already talking about him, but I don't know. He's an interesting guy to me. He's a stand-up comedian, and everybody seems to know his name.
Yeah. Seems like he's been around for a while. It's a lot of connections.
We even have a segment tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Dry Bar Comedy. We realize that he has a stand-up special on that Dry Bar Comedy. He just keeps popping up. There's no getting away from him.
Yeah.
So on our top left corner here, we have Illuminati Nate, IN8K. He is a gamer and he streams, and he's a little, I don't want to judge the man, but he's got some personal issues, but he also does some pranks. And these are a few of my favorite pranks. This first one here is called the Full-Time Baker prank. So why don't we just take a little watch here and check my volume? Oh, it's muted. Is it muted?
The desktop audio.
Oh, no, you see it's playing here. No, never mind.
Through the microphone.
Well, the desktop audio doesn't affect our ability to hear it. Oh, man. Well, I can't mess with that. That won't work. Did that really just do that? Well, I can play it for the audience. The audience could hear it, but we won't be able to hear it.
Interesting.
He says, oh, full-time baker. And he goes, oh.
Hey, man.
Hi.
I saw you guys were hiring a full-time baker. Could I get an app, please?
Yes.
I brought my resume.
Oh, cool. All right.
Just get it lava lit.
Right. There you go. You can fill that right out. Do you need a...
There you go.
Yeah, thanks. Do you need a pen?
Good. There you go. Oh. You got 5 on it?
I'm sorry.
You got 5 on it? You want a match?
No, this will end properly. So anyway, it's a great
No.
prank. I'm glad I can do it.
Thanks.
This will figuring out the technical issues here. I've never watched anything Ray DeVito, but I hear his name everywhere. Oh, is this just going down his playlist? Like I said, he plays video games here. So that was the prank. It's a great prank. It's a full-time baker prank, and he goes in and he says, oh, you're looking for a full-time baker? Can I get an application? And they say, yeah, and he brings it in and he says, he said, do you need a, he's like, don't worry, I brought my pen, and he puts a joint in his mouth and he lights it.
It's a good little prank.
And then he starts smoking, and then as he's leaving, he says, oh, you got 5 on it? You want a match? And they say no, and he says, all right, have a good day. And they still give him the application. Yeah. This is another one.
Cool dude to work with.
If I try to fix this audio, I might just lose all microphone audio.
What do you think the problem is?
I think this just needs to be unplugged and plugged back in. All right.
Yeah, maybe do that.
All right, we're going to play this next prank here, and I'm going to take a shot at fixing the mic. Because we can't hear this.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
You guys hiring?
No.
No? All right.
It'd be a delayed
Oh.
echo, wouldn't it?
Could I give you my resume?
She's the one to talk to about that. Also.
Be hearing it in our mics, too.
I just got a lava
I mean, I
lit.
think
Do
that
you
might
guys
be a
want
better way to do
You got
it.
5 on it? You want a match?
No.
Hey, man. Thanks, man.
Oh, I
What's
fixed
this
it.
place? Discount.
I had pushed these buttons already.
Discount
I
smoke
tested-
shop or discount vape shop?
Okay, we fixed it.
All right. All right, I'll come back and check. Thanks.
So this is basically the same premise, though, except he goes to a vape shop or a smoke shop and says, oh, are you hiring? I brought my application. And then he lights the joint inside of the public establishment. It's a solid prank. This guy doesn't have a lot of ammo when it comes to working with pranks. I don't think he has the time or the patience to think of something more clever, but he's out there shooting and coming up with some original pranks. What strikes me about this one, though, I want everybody to pay attention who's looking at any video here, it's unnerving. Anybody else who would do a prank like this, as soon as you leave the building, you would feel a real sense of relief. And I want you to watch his face after he leaves this building here.
All right, I'll come back and check.
It
Thanks.
does not change whatsoever.
Thanks, man.
He is stone cold. No sense of relief. I don't even think he gets why these are
Smile more,
funny
man.
pranks. He's a little unnerving. But that was those are our first two pranks. Those are his full-time baker and his discount smoke shop prank, and it's pretty standard. You see what you're getting there. And then we get to a couple of really unhinged ones. And you can see by the first sample of this what I'm kind of worried. This one is called I Needed a Ride Prank. Could you guess what this would be? I needed a ride prank.
I think you might need a ride somewhere.
I just needed a ride.
You all right? You get it? No? All right. All right, thanks. Thanks anyways.
So he's
Appreciate it.
covered in blood, attempting
Thanks.
to hitchhike.
All right. You all right?
That's Iron8K's I needed a ride, just needed a ride prank. And he does, as he's in full costume here, he had another prank involving this covered in blood. So this is the last prank. This prank is called I Need a Band-Aid Prank. It's not the best at branding these, I'd say.
No.
You got a Band-Aid? Napkins?
Sorry, you can't make these any bigger, folks. These shorts.
Thanks, man. I'm just possessed. It's all right. I'll be good. You got a Band-Aid?
It's a good prank. I don't really know what the outcome here is, though. You know, I follow another prank. I forget his name right now. Maybe we could find him in a little bit. I wanted to talk about something else today. But you don't get a lot of punchline out of it. It's like, oh, that was kind of spooky, and then he just leaves.
Yeah, they're kind of just like situational pranks.
Right.
Not a lot of after effects to it.
And with all the costume and everything, you'd think he'd just vlog or something. He's not. He's doing 30-second pranks after all this work with the fake blood and everything. But that was Illuminati Nate. I would suggest everybody kind of goes checks out Iron8K's, but it's pretty flooded. He's an interesting guy, though. A lot of his videos are him following other people named Nathan. He'll search Nathan on other social medias, and then he'll just for 10 minutes be going through and clicking every follow for every Nathan or any spelling of Nate or N-A-T, any of those things. So he's kind of an interesting guy there. And then he plays video games occasionally. You got to be careful, though. If you're talking in his live chat, he's concerned you're stalking him, so he blocks you. So if you want to continue to follow his content, then you have to keep quiet about it. It's kind of unique.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Do we have anything going on? What if I just looked through people in this live chat and started blocking them because they were stalking? So then another thing I wanted to talk about here, but I thought we'd talk about here, is a new podcast that's starting. Is that what it's going to be? Is it a podcast? Did we really read anything about it? It was implied that it's a podcast. Or I think Brody Tupi referred to it as podcast. So we're all just kind of assuming. So there's a new podcast that's going to be starting here. We talked a little about Delicious last week with Austin Ingalls, or a couple weeks ago, I guess, with Austin Ingalls there, in regards to the reality show. Dave Collins' 30-minute-hour reality show. We're working on episode 5, and included in that is it's a lot about the Jester's Lounge and my trip to Boston, and a lot of that involves Delicious, who is the production manager of Jester's Lounge, and I also went to Boston with him. So we went to Boston. We talked a little about that Boston trip when I streamed last Wednesday, when we played that whole viral visual view and recap of the Boston trip with Delicious. But after Delicious left the Jester's Lounge, there was some sort of separation. It's a little unclear if he was fired or if he left that morning or what the situation was, or if he was given a timeline and he said, oh, I'll just strip the equipment from the venue and say this is my last day.
Yeah, I think that's why he named his podcast the way he did, right?
Well, it's one of his jokes. He said he goes up on stage sometimes and says, oh, I guess this is what pretty people do when you're not looking, or something like that. And he's talking about the audience. He's a charmer.
Yeah, he's a bit
of a charmer.
Fellow. Yeah, I wonder if you'll talk about the Jester's Lounge at all in this podcast.
I wonder what he'll talk about at all. So the podcast that he's starting there is called What Pretty People Do When You're Not Looking. And I wanted to take a moment to read the description of this podcast. I'm really looking forward to it. And then since we have the reality show, I have all these clips that include Delicious. I thought we'd promote his show and talk a little about this. You'll notice that this show has 4 subscribers. So if we could double that today, then I would be pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, we did our part then.
I'm actually half of the subscribers right now, so I'm really looking forward to kind of getting that up there because I want people to pay attention to this, and I think we're going to be following this pretty closely. I'm very curious about whatever type of content he might be putting out there. But I wanted to read the description of this podcast here, and then I think we'll take a little look at some of Delicious's clips here and introduce them to the audience, and maybe they'll go and follow some of his content too.
Yeah.
What could he be talking about? What do you think?
What does bringing awareness mean?
That's exactly right. Let's read the description of his show. Delicious makes a personal visit into the minds of people we love, bringing awareness, comedy, and love in order to shed light into our daily lives and eliminate the stigmas associated. You will experience interviews with all walks of life and get to see and hear about how the person that inspires you deal with the same struggles on the inside. I'm not sure if that line assumes that Delicious is somebody we are inspired by. I think that's how I kind of read it there. And then he finishes there. Hold on tight. Don't take notes, but take action and manifest. And this is very frustrating to me. I've told him for probably 2 years now, you need to start writing some notes. And he says, don't take notes, take action. This is somebody that within the first week of me meeting him, he wanted to go tour in a van somewhere and bring a bunch of comedians. I said, you really should focus on working on an act. So that don't take notes kind of strikes me there, but this is going to be an interesting show. And the goal
sounds
is...
like he's looking forward to taking action, making progress.
Oh, that's good. Is that one of your catchphrases?
That could be.
Where does that come from?
A little fap. He's
Take
fapping
action.
it.
Oh, right. That's right. That joke. The goal is to make it to the next day. So maybe it'll be a mental awareness. For a guy named, he's usually branded as Delicious Comedy, but maybe he doesn't say anything really about, I guess he just say comedy here. But maybe it'll just be like a mental health podcast or something like that. I was hoping that he'd have more of a tease, but this is the only thing that we get as a tease here. Just coming soon, what pretty people do when you're not looking. It might not even be a podcast. Don't even know what that is. I don't know what's coming soon.
A candid camera or something like that.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting as well.
So we're really looking forward to whatever Delicious is working on there, and I wanted to plug that and maybe get some people in the chat to go follow him and keep up with this. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be exotic, whatever's going on over there.
Yeah.
So we wanted to take a moment here to introduce Delicious to our audience. If you haven't known him already, we brought him on the Boston trip, and he's appeared on the show. He appeared on Who Are the Podcasts, which is pretty funny. I couldn't believe it. He knows. He was booking a comedy club, and Carl said something about Mark Norman, and Delicious says, "Oh, I don't even know who that is." It was very, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it was shocking to a lot of people to meet him and say, "Well, you don't really know a lot about comedy or the current environment of comedy, maybe more accurately." But we brought him on WATP. He appeared with Carl Hamburger on that show, and we talked about Joe Matarese. Delicious left that, calling Joe Matarese the next week, and they're booking him at the Jester's Lounge, which I thought would have been very funny, but maybe for different reasons than a lot of people, or that he might have thought so, which is kind of interesting. But Delicious, anyway, we brought him on the Boston trip. That's kind of what's going on there. And we have some clips. I didn't even look through these. I just kind of pulled up a bunch. We have some of his comedy here. We have a time where Chris Schlichting met Delicious. I think we played that in the reality show. A lot of his comedy here. We have an insane roast joke. This is actually my favorite one. We start here.
The worst part is
This is from the show with Austin Ingalls and Accomplices. Oh, but he isn't even singing here. I thought this was a different clip, I suppose.
Let's start slow. My heart's a stereo.
Oh, hello, Hack Ride. What's up, buddy? Made it.
Every note of my heart's a stereo.
Do the rap song.
And that's all I got.
Break that.
Baller.
He's a high roller. He goes to a comedy show and he just brings one $100 bill.
Oh, wow.
And they said, "I can't break this. I'm taking money and tickets at the door. You need to go break this."
Yeah.
It's very interesting, but he's an interesting character. I don't know why I pulled this one exactly. We have a lot. Did I even pull that one of Delicious saying, "Be professional"? I guess we'll get into that. This is one of my personal favorites. We were at a roast for Veronica Memoir. She's a Quad Cities comedian. You're familiar with Veronica.
I am, yep.
She used to be a stripper, I think, and that's kind of a lot of her comedy and things, a lot of the roast jokes that people were making about her. And she has some sort of history of sexual violence in her past, which she talks about in her comedy. But Delicious didn't know anything about this woman, I think, and he decided to, he's going to go up and he's going to try to do a little bit of that roast.
Yeah.
And it was sloppy. It was pretty wild to see. But let's take a little listen to this great roast joke.
We'll start off with first impressions now. And stop me if I get anything wrong here, okay?
Really control a room.
Daddy issues,
He has good presence.
stripper, OCD, image issues, rejection issues. Am I getting warmer? Hitting the nail on the head, huh? You know, let me see, what else do we got here?
It's like a comedic detective. Detective for comedians.
I guess her dad would say, if there's grass on the field, she's too old. That's where the rejection issues came in at.
I mean, I think this is the first or second time he met this woman. It was very funny to me,
Yeah.
but I was pretty shocked. I said, wow, he's really shooting here.
Yeah. It's the first time I've ever seen that.
Isn't that interesting? I don't even think he knows what he said. I think she was actually assaulted by somebody in her family too, which is pretty. I mean, I imagine me making things up. I actually don't know anything about that. I'm kind of adding to the story, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But that was the impression that I got.
I kind of feel like what you felt like when you saw Tom Michelson, when he said that joke about his.
Right.
made a funeral
That's actually
joke.
a good point. I did the same thing to Tom Michelson.
Yeah.
I made a dead father joke the day after his father died.
Yeah.
It's getting closer every time the retelling of the story.
Yeah.
I think it was a week earlier. So you'll find more of that shocking humor here at What Pretty People Do When You're Not Looking. I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully it's a good show. Gets a lot of his.
We should pull up
Kind of,
the
pronouns
Jesters.
are kind of interesting there.
Why don't we pull up the
see the
Jesters Lounge
pronouns?
YouTube page? Hey, well, I saw the pronouns because I was refreshing this
His.
over and over and over this morning, waiting for something to come up, and I just kept watching the description change every once in a while, and then he added these pronouns at one point.
So he must have a co-host.
Oh, I think it's his girlfriend
Her
or
she.
fiance. I'm not really sure how close they are. I just thought, another way we could talk about Delicious and what this podcast might look like is looking at the Jesters Lounge comedy page. Because he was doing live streams on that Jesters comedy page. Oh, I guess it's going to be impossible to find. Do you think the YouTube page is down? Matt?
The Jesters Lounge page?
Yeah, do you think that page is down?
I didn't know there was a Facebook page.
No, YouTube channel.
Oh, was there a YouTube channel?
Yeah,
for
and
it?
he would do these podcast types things on the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
It was fascinating. Oh, I guess it turns out the Jesters Lounge is a pretty common name, isn't it?
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, see if you can get a link for that. I'm not really sure how that's. It might just be gone forever.
It might be.
If I had any attachment to that venue, I probably would have removed those videos also. Those were great. I don't really just want to play a bunch of his stand-up comedy, although I'm not even sure if he's performing stand-up comedy anymore.
Yeah, we can't assume.
Maybe he's just moved into broadcasting. And I want to use whatever ammo I have here to kind of try to get him some subscribers on this podcast here so we can all start listening right when it starts. I need a Band-Aid
Yeah, I
prank.
think the page is down.
The page is down.
Yep.
That's too bad. We really should have saved some of those. Did you screen record any of those?
I did not know.
Anyway, so that was his crazy roast joke. We're not able to find any of his long lives on. He was starting a live podcast on the Jesters Lounge page, and I wish we had that. I guess we can't get any of that here. This is back in April. We'll watch another one of his 30 seconds here. And so all these clips are just different clips that I have on the Patreon here. I thought I'd pull some of those, and we talk a little about Delicious and his new podcast. We talked about Ray DeVito at the beginning here. We talked a little about tomorrow's radio show on the Blind Mike Project. Happy to catch a live. Know you through Blind Mike. Well, thank you, Cherokee girl. I think he's boring. I think Delicious is fascinating. Did you delete that?
No, I just saw that he unsent it himself.
Okay. Something about Delicious is you think he's boring? I don't know. Oh, something about it was something about it's painful to watch, I think. It was something along those lines. I just caught it right before.
Yeah, he did.
I wish I could have seen you when you were in Boston. Well, that would have been fun. We were in Boston, and on the last live we did some coverage, and I talked about Delicious and I visiting Boston there, and we went over the video, the 30-minute kind of podcast and visual representation of what that trip looks like there, and it was a lot of fun. Delicious, everybody.
Dogs kill people. Michael Vick kills dogs.
Do it again, hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. David said dogs kill people. I say Michael Vick kills dogs. Who's the real hero there?
He was tagging a joke that I do. I've done this joke a couple of times. It's I think, let me see. It's, oh yeah, I think my dog has PTSD. Not because he's a rescue or anything like that, but I got him a flea and tick collar last year and he committed a genocide. So this year I got him an AR-15. Guns don't kill people, dogs kill people. It's something like that. It's not a very good joke, but I told it a couple of times in April there, I think, and that's what he was responding to.
Oh, geez. Okay, here. I was just thinking of this one the other day, and I've been trying to put it together, and you guys reminded me because you're so fucking racist. So.
Wow. And that was 30 seconds of Delicious on stage. And his new podcast, What Pretty People Do When You're Not Looking. This has got a pretty good promotion. Oh, here it is. I do have this clip here. D says, be professional. This is when he was doing production manager at the Jester's Lounge. This is a very funny clip to me because, of course, we're all kind of joking in the green room there. Johnny O comes in. It's one of the first shows, and he just says, thanks, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. You do all the, it's really great that we have all this support. And there's a joke that is made. Delicious tries to tag that joke. Nobody hears him, and then he seems to be a little embarrassed by that, and he yells at everybody to be quiet and says, we have to be professional. It's one of my favorite clips here.
He's looking professional.
No, he's dressed very professional. He's always dressed very nice, and he has glitter in his hair, and he's very fashionable.
Okay, go ahead. I'm only saying this to get a blowjob.
So this is great. I'm not even sure if this is going to make it into the reality show.
I'm so scared. John is definitely the dude that accidentally dropped the soap in prison. It's like, I was jailed on prison. It was only 24 days. Jail, dude. That shit's caffeinated crunk. Hey, back on track. Real quick. Hey, because we got to be professional here. Thank you.
Oh, don't you love the hand movements? And then it kind of, this actually clipped weird. It did it twice.
Professional here. Thank you.
And then this is the last 10 seconds of it here.
Yeah, for real. And like, hang in, because this is dead season. Once shit starts getting busy, dude, it's going to be fucking busy. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it never did get busy there, but if it were to have gotten busy, it definitely would have been busy there.
Yeah, I could see that.
What does he do with his hands there? Can I start mimicking that? I don't know. I don't like that at all, actually.
I don't know what it is.
What is he doing? Everybody practice their Delicious impression. They're doing those a lot in New York City now. They say, we're doing a lookalike contest of so-and-so. Have you seen these?
I have
These
seen
lookalike
those, yeah.
contests? It seems to really growing in popularity. Only in New York City, though, I'm noticing.
There was one in Chicago for who was in The Bear. You ever see The Bear show?
Oh, right. Wild.
Yeah, is that who it is?
Oh, that's what he looks like. He looks like some guy named Wild, right? He looks like Willy Wonka. Whoever played Willy Wonka?
No, The Bear, the show about the kitchen.
Yeah, the guy from Shameless.
Yeah.
He looks like just like somebody in the chat. Help me there. The Wild guy from Willy Wonka. He's Willy Wonka himself.
Oh, Gene Wilder?
Gene Wilder.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
He looks just like the guy from The Bear. Looks like Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
I
that's
know who
another
he's referring
Iowa
to.
guy. Another University of Iowa guy.
Is he really?
Yeah, just like the United Healthcare CEO.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, we
Cooper
just have
G.
other clips of him 60 seconds and things. We didn't really have too much Delicious in the Wilds there. But I was really hoping if we could have found that Jester's Lounge page. That would have been really good to show people because he's starting this podcast and we're really interested. Why don't we just jump through this next one here? 60 seconds of Delicious. Check out his show, What Pretty People Do When You're Not Looking. This is great promotion.
Yeah, your promoter.
This guy's a promoter. One thing you could say about Delicious, though, beyond all of his faults, this guy knows how to get out on the street and hand out flyers.
Yeah.
Nothing stops him. In fact, one issue that Johnny O, I recall having with him at the Jester's Lounge, there's this great story where Delicious went to another comedy show during an active show and was handing out tickets and flyers for the Jester's Lounge.
Oh, wow.
And he got a bit of a talking to. There's somebody got a phone call and said, hey, this isn't right.
Yeah.
But he goes out there and he pounds the pavement.
It's like an act of war for comedy clubs.
Isn't it? I know it was pretty wild of him. Pretty
Because this shit's
aggressive. I don't think he just shoots. He
Yeah.
really just shoots. And we'll
Shoots
see
from the
this in
hip.
this clip, I'm sure.
gonna decline real quick, and then use those photos at my funeral on how to remember me, though. Okay. That makes me think because you guys keep talking about gay shit. I was talking to my buddy
It makes me
about
giggle.
this, and I was just wondering, do you think like when gay dudes are fucking and like the one dude comes really quick, like the other guy's like, I get it, dude. Don't worry, I understand. I'm a fast comer sometimes as well. Oh, as opposed to the women. I'm just wondering.
That felt like a minute to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a good Kill Tony joke.
Good minute joke. Not sure. But anyway, what else we want to touch on? Other than little boys, but sorry, didn't mean dig that deep. But all right, cool. Well, I'll end with that shit. It was great seeing you guys tonight. Thank you, Davenport.
And he always is charming, and he's happy to be there. He's always a great person to have around. We wish we would have seen him on more open mics, but he doesn't really show up anymore.
Yeah, come out to Monks.
Right. Monk's Comedy.
Or
Do we have
the Goose.
Or the Goose. We don't have any clips from either of those venues. This is a fun clip when the first time Chris Schlichting met Delicious. Chris Schlichting's he has a dry bar comedy special. He's a fairly professional stand-up comedian. Anyway, he has a day job and everything, but he works and he goes around and he's fairly well known, especially regionally here. But Chris Schlichting meeting Delicious was a kind of a funny clip, I thought.
Talking about at dinner tonight. Delicious! Keep it going, Delicious! The first time I met Delicious, I was like, hello! And he's like, hello, I'm Delicious. And I'm like, I'm Chris. Like, it was just boring that my name was Chris. Okay, Jesus Christ, you guys. Like, I don't know if I'm just like, there's an echo in this gummy or what, but,
I loved that joke. I don't know if there was an echo in this gummy or something. I thought that was a fun joke, but that was the first time Chris Schlichting met Delicious.
Yeah, it's good moment captured on camera there.
Anyway, I really wish maybe if we refresh it. I've been refreshing this all morning. So like I mentioned, I'll just mention it again there. This morning I came here and we were supposed to, this afternoon, I was supposed to come here and we were going to record an episode of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show. Our guest actually, he reached out to me about 20 minutes before we were supposed to go live. And he said, I have a friend that got in a terrible car accident just now. I need to go. Can we reschedule? And I said, can we just push it back a couple hours? He said, no. So we rescheduled and we'll be recording that first thing in the morning tomorrow right after the radio show, which is going to be fine. Drive Time David Collins tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. every Wednesday. So we decided that we'd go live here for about an hour and talk about a few things, including I showed the pranks earlier in the show. Those are pretty good pranks. I could probably find more of those. I follow a lot of unique YouTube channels that nobody really knows about, and I like to kind of present those, although some of them I'm a little embarrassed and I don't like to be credited. For example, that Billy McNeely, the karate.
Yeah.
We talked about him on a Hack Rides channel, and Dylan from Somewheres talked about him, and I was appropriately credited for finding that channel, but it's a little embarrassing, and I think initially I even asked, hey, don't mention me, please. And this is another one that I'm looking forward to following, What Pretty People Do When You're Not Looking, once Delicious starts his podcast. And this is the last clip that I really pulled here of just some of his comedy to introduce my audience here to more of Delicious, since all we'd really talked about was the Boston trip up to this point.
In 2018, actually, we put him to death with some gas. But I don't know if you guys have ever had to put your animal down, but they give you the option.
I did. I have a great story about that, actually. I had to kill my dog once. He was raised to be a fighting dog. He was a pit bull. And I had a buddy that had him. My buddy was miles and miles away, hundreds of miles away. But I had actually been visiting that friend when he got the dog. He saved him from a fighting dog situation. Rescued the dog, and I was there when he brought him home, and I spent a few days with the dog and everything for the first, but my buddy had a couple other pit bulls already. So once this young boy started to mature, he already had this instinct and he was ready to be a fighting dog. He couldn't have him with these other pit bulls anymore. So he ended up driving the dog hundreds of miles over to me. I said, if you drive him over to me, I'll take him. And I took this pit bull in, and I had him for about 4 years. And we had to wrestle a lot and things, too. When I first got him, it was pretty dangerous dog. He ripped up all my shoes, and I had to take some bites, and we kind of worked through it. But eventually, I overcame that, and he was a great dog. Except if I wasn't around for about 12 hours, he'd go back to being rare form and become very dangerous. He attacked a couple of times. I had successful pet sitters for bachelor parties or holidays and things like that. But eventually, that wasn't working out. He attacked one too many pet sitters. And I had to make the call. I said, I think I have to kill this dog. I mean, what do you do at that point? We went through training. We tried to get some rehabilitation. I even tried to rehome him at one point, and he attacked that family, and I had to go pick him up at 6 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
So, and then I had to... So, to Delicious's joke here, I had to kill my dog once.
Actually, we put him to death with some gas. But I don't know if you guys have ever had your animal down, but they give you the option of getting clay paws prints, right?
I never got that option.
Give you the option of getting clay paws prints, right? Have any of you done this before?
Yeah.
No? Okay. So they do. They give,
Somebody in the audience literally said yes.
right? Have any
Would you
of
have
you done
taken
this
it if they
before?
offered?
Would I have taken it?
Yeah, if they offered it to you.
No, I have his collar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We showed that. Speaking of, I showed off that collar on the Blind Mike Project when I hosted their New Year's episode last year.
Oh, right.
I wonder what he's doing this year for New Year's.
Option of getting clay paws prints, right? Have any of you done this before?
Yeah.
No? Okay. So they do. They give you the option of it, like they'll put his paw prints in the clay, and then you actually get the clay, and you get to take it home and bake it yourself and stuff. So as we're sitting there, the nurse comes in, I think that's what they're called at a veterinary clinic, correct? And she's like, well, we also offer up the paw prints too, and we do 2 clay pellets for you. I was like, sweet. I was like, now, I bet you get this a lot and all the time, but can you make one of those a print of his balls, please?
They liked that one. And that was some delicious comedy. Follow him on Facebook, Delicious Comedy. Let him know we sent you. But that was it on the Delicious there. Do you have anything else? I was hoping we would find that the Jester's Lounge would have been a great poll here. I don't really have too much else. I could have done a little something here, but I'm not really sure. Oh, this scroll bar works. I mean, I could just look through any other clips of the... But Matt, what do you think?
Are there any clips from Jester's Lounge up there on in YouTube at all? I thought I saw one from
Austin Ingalls.
Austin Ingalls' page. Was that of?
Yeah, we can't pull that one.
Okay.
There's something in there that I'm hiding. But we have I don't know, some other clips here. What is this, Romeo and Juliet joke?
This one's very questionable, but it worked really well.
But I don't know. I just wanted to promote Delicious's page. I was really hoping we could pull that Jester's, but I think we've kind of floundered there. Oh, or I could pull that Ray DeVito. I should clip up some highlights of me on Ray DeVito. That might be good. Yours is still public. When I did Ray DeVito's show, he immediately made it private.
Oh, was that good?
It was, yeah, I said, that's what I said. And then we had this big discussion where I said, I can't watch it. It's private. And he said, no, it's unlisted for you. That's not how it works. So
Yeah,
it's a little strange, but I did Ray DeVito's show. Matt did a Ray DeVito show this Sunday. So if anybody wants to check that out on Ray DeVito's channel, it's actually very fine. It's difficult to find Ray DeVito's channel too, because you search Ray DeVito, you find other people talking about him.
Yeah, it's all about everybody else talking about him. It takes a while to find his channel.
Yeah, see, even if I just do this. There he is. There's Matt Ferry on Ray DeVito. So there's some things to watch. And then we're going to talk a little about Pod 4. I want to plug that on David Collins' 30-minute hour show. Post 4. You said Pod 4 earlier. It confused me. Tomorrow's radio show on the Blind Mike Project is going to be pretty good. I'm really excited for it. We have a new segment at the beginning there, water cooler talk, that Matt's really looking forward to, and I am too. And it's actually really on theme of what I was kind of looking for there, but we found a good way to structure it. I'm kind of looking forward to that. We have our uplifting video, of course, senior grill instructor, our card breaks, and then with Troy, I'm really excited for our last 40 minutes tomorrow because we're going to be talking about some stand-up comedy that I found here, and I think a lot of people have heard of already, but it's about a little on some of those people doing stand-up comedy. We're going to play some of those clips and talk with Troy about it, and then we'll be finishing off with Dylan tomorrow. So really looking forward to Drive Time David Collins. And then after that, I'll be recording an episode of David Collins' 30-minute hour show with our great guest that had to reschedule today. A great science project I'm looking forward to, inspired by Bob and Sherry. Do you ever listen to Bob and Sherry in the morning?
I have not.
Oh, you didn't even believe that. You were suspicious. You said, are you making those people up or something like that?
I thought it was Bob from Bob and Tom.
No, it's
Apparently
Bob and
there's more than
Sherry.
one Bob.
But it's a great bit from Bob and Sherry that I'm kind of lifting there, but I think it's going to be a perfect science experiment to do for David Collins' 30-minute hour show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. Well, do you just want to wrap up then? That's all I wanted. We just wanted to touch base for a little under an hour here, talk a little about Delicious, talk about the rescheduling, talk about you and Ray DeVito. Please, I'm going to refresh this here. Speaking of heartbreaking, I see that in the chat. My heart's going to be broken if this hasn't even gone up to 5 yet. Can we get this? Let's double this number today. So that's all I wanted to talk about. But anyway.
Hey, we got Zach Hoyle in the chat.
Oh, is he really? Why is he saying sorry?
I'm not sure.
What did I say? Oh, he doesn't even follow Delicious Comedy. Even Iowans here aren't following Delicious Comedy. I can't believe this. This page has been up for more than a day now. I'm half of the subscribers.
Yeah, you're like a shareholder.
I made it a point. I might as well be. I made it a point, though. I said, today we're going to go on here and we're going to plug this. It does kind of bug me, though, that Facebook Delicious Comedy here is... The link is DLCP. Which, let's drop the CP part of it making me uncomfortable. I just don't like it looking like it's DC.
Yeah.
It's a DC, but it's a little
Very
strange.
close, yeah.
But this is his Facebook page. I encourage people to come check him out. We're really looking forward to that show. Anyway, Zach Hoyle in the chat, that if anybody wondered why he got pointed out, he's an Iowa City-based or Cedar Rapids comedian. He's very funny. He's appeared on some of the clips on Instagram, I believe. And we mentioned it before. But anyway.
Yeah, Zach's awesome.
I guess we'll wrap up. Thanks, everybody, for watching there. I appreciate it. What is Facebook? That's a great question. Need a link, maybe? Oh, yeah, it is hard to find. We tried to find it today. I actually had to go find a place where I had a link there. That's why I keep repeating it, what pretty people do when they're not looking. Good morning, Mike Larson, and good night. Same to you, Amanda Davidson, and Elle, and Cherokee Girl, and Zach Hoyle, and anybody else lurking there. I hope everybody has a great day. We're going to close out and see everybody first thing in the morning, 7:30 a.m., Drive Time David Collins on the Blind Mike Project channel. Great. And thanks so much for pointing out that calendar. I'm glad it was so noticeable. I didn't know if anybody was going to notice.
Yeah, it's a nice little addition to the
I was
room.
just wearing my... Austin Ingalls finally pointed out, somebody else this week, the bartender, said, oh, you have your ears pierced? I said, I've been wearing this earring for months and months.
Yeah.
Usually takes people a lot. Maybe some people are a little more observant than others, I suppose. But that's all. All right. I wish we had a closing stinger or something like that. Drive time, drive safe, drive hard. We don't have anything for these live streams. Just got to close it out.
What did you even say?
The stud is so hot. Oh, well, that's very sweet.